Welcome to MindBody TV. We have a really powerful episode today because I'm going to be sharing my personal journey as a physician and why I've exited the conventional medical system. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Kim Duramo. I was a board certified emergency medicine doctor, but many years before I became a physician, I had an awakening experience where I was able to read people's energies, feel their emotions, hear their thoughts, and have really clear awareness about what was really going on that was creating disease. I jumped into studying everything I could about mind-body medicine, how the mind and body are connected, how the body heals itself, how our inner world is actually what creates our outer reality. And this led into a decades-long exploration of the quantum creation, that we are creators, and that when there's illness, disease, or problems that are not getting better, no matter what we're doing, that it can take an inner shift that can allow everything to unwind, to let solutions appear, to let the medicines show up, to let the practitioner right place, right time, or for circumstances in our life to unwind and be taken care of. And so I've devoted my medical career to sharing this truth and to bringing resources that truly support healing. So welcome. I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. What brought you here? Have you been here before? Many of you have been in our community for many years. I just met someone in a group I was in the other day who said, I followed you for the last 13 years since you just started your YouTube channel and you completely saved my life. And I was like, wow, way back then. So it has been quite an amazing journey for me to be sharing this publicly and to have this community grow and grow so substantially as more and more people have become interested in what really supports inner health, what really supports my becoming more conscious in my life, what really supports me in consciously creating versus just being kind of feeling like a victim to what's happening. And so I've dedicated my medical career to bringing these kinds of resources. And I'd love to hear, what this means to you, how you found this work, and where in the world are you tuning in from? All right, so let's jump in. I'm going to share a lot of my personal journey and what I'm doing now. And so basically, I was trained as a board certified emergency medicine doctor. I got my board certification in 2005. I trained at Emory University at Grady Hospital, where it was arguably one of the best emergency medicine training programs in the country, in the world. It's a level 1 hospital, level 1 trauma center, meaning 24 hours, 7 days a week coverage for every surgical subspecialty that we could need for trauma care, for neurologic, for any of the severe medical critical care issues or the severe traumatic surgical issues that would come at any time of the day or night. And we did get them all day, all night from the whole Southeast area. Everybody got shipped right into Grady Hospital. And so I would be the one receiving those calls, receiving those ambulances, receiving those life flights of helicopters coming in, and sometimes going to the roof of the building to jump on that helicopter and help them get that patient off and begin stabilizing that patient, doing chest compression, or continue doing chest compressions, and begin our part of the medical treatment right there on the roof. So unbelievable opportunity that I was afforded by the grace of God to do this amazing training in an area that I think is a really smart way to practice in the allopathic model. Allopathic meaning something outside of me is what's going to be the thing that helps heal me. Something outside of me needs to happen. And so we're giving medications and we're doing surgical interventions and we're doing lots and lots of procedures all day. And these are life-saving interventions. I have personally benefited from that system many times. in ways that were really important to me. So I'm really grateful for that system. I do not, however, think in that system we're doing a great job at all at promoting health, meaning we can keep you alive, we can fix you up and ship you out. Have we actually made you any healthier? Of course not. And I think when you really look at that system, you have the awareness it's not supposed to make you healthier, but we're doing a great job preventing you from dying right now. And so even for long-term chronic illnesses, diabetes, heart disease, we can do a lot of things to make sure you don't die right now. Do you still have diabetes? Do you still have high blood pressure? Do you still have heart disease? Yes, because that's not what that system is about. Okay, so in my journey, I've really come across a lot of ways that this wasn't a fit for me. Meaning, if I were to stay in that system, not just in the ER, but in the licensure and what that agreement is, that this was really going to limit me and to limit my ability to express and take action on what I know is the best medicine. Having personally studied for myself, right? I dealt with a really severe autoimmune disease and was told, you'll never run again. You'll be on medications for life. And that I found to be completely false. It was not true for me at all. I never took medications. I never did any of the lifestyle changes they said would be required. And I was able to heal my body within just days and reverse the entire autoimmune disease. This was really significant because I had learned the body heals itself, the mind and body are connected. I didn't know how to apply that, right? Like, what do I do to ignite that? And that's really why I've established the American Institute of Mind Body Medicine. I'm now showing other practitioners how to exit the system, how to do this work, how to become very successful in a career, helping others heal. And there's more information on that as well. We do still have some space left in my Mind Body Medicine Practitioner Certification program. I'm not sure when we'll ever run this again, but we do have a couple of spots left for this. And we're starting very soon. So you can go to drkimd.com/certification if you are interested in applying for that. And I will connect with you directly. So there are lots of physicians in this same boat or healthcare practitioners who are realizing, wow, I can't really do what I want to do within that system. And that was really true for me. And so over time, it came time to renew my board certification. At that time, I had already established the American Institute of Mind Body Medicine. I had already, I think it was 14 years ago, gone online and started teaching and started sharing this message, started working with clients individually and in groups. But that year when my board certification was going to expire, I was really hesitant. I kept feeling like I really should keep this thing alive. I really should put the energy into it. I've done decades of training and years and years and years of working, and I really should keep this going, even though I knew in my heart I never wanted to go back into the ER. I wasn't in the ER at that time, and I never, ever wanted to go back. In fact, part of me felt like I would rather die. And so I had this heart knowing of like, no, that's not for me. I can let it go. And then my mind was like, what if things don't work out? I was not just barely putting food on the table in my business of what I'm doing now. It was not coming close to repleting the revenue I was generating as an ER doctor. I knew that the direction I was going, it very likely would, and that it had the potential, but I was scared. But it came time for that year where I either invested a ton of energy into kind of like recertifying, studying up, taking a bunch of tests. I mean, like literally devoting that whole year, that would be my primary job, or I let it go. And in my heart, I knew what was right. It just took a lot of courage. When I finally made the choice, it was the easiest choice I ever made. I never looked back. And it was right after that, that this business, my true heart's calling, started to accelerate very substantially. That was the first year that this business started putting food on the table. That was the first year we had a lot of traction. People were finding this work. People were knowing, yes, I'm ready to work with you. I'm ready to do this, and choosing it. And so it's kind of like as within, so without. When I had one foot in the door of each world, it was like, I don't think people could really feel my grounding in this work. And when I finally chose my heart, I chose my clarity, I chose my yes, everything started to happen. And that's a real big tip for so many of us, whether you're a doctor or a practitioner or a nurse or like a coach or any kind of therapist, or you just want to start doing more healing work, or just anyone who's looking to manifest more money. It is our choice. It's when we choose that activates the new creation. And so if you're waiting like, well, when I have enough money, then I'll choose, but you're not actually investing your energy in the new intention, it will never show up. You'll be waiting forever. Your choice will create. And so if you're choosing from the heart, from that ding, 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 even if you have no idea how, it will always create more prosperity. You'll have more energy, you'll have more money, you'll have more support and resources, you'll have more clarity, and you immediately step into greater vitality because you're in a higher frequency. So it's really choice that creates our reality. Okay, so I did share a few weeks ago about the real history of medicine. If you didn't see that episode of MindBody TV, it's so worth watching, because what people think of, in fact, somebody wrote in a excerpt, they were interviewing me. Oh, she left traditional medicine and is doing this alternative medicine. And I was like, can I correct this? There's nothing traditional about the centralized, institutionalized, conventional medical system. There's nothing traditional about it at all. Are there other traditions that are thousands and thousands of years old, have stood the test of time, that are not included in that system? Yes, there are. And those are called, from the centralized point of view, the quote, alternative medical system. Yes, I know, something worth celebrating is acknowledging this. Wait a minute, why are these the alternative? Well, watch that video, trigger alert, because it really shares a lot of the multi-billion-dollar campaigns that have gone into marketing to make people think that that centralized medical system has risen to the top because it is the best. And that is, nothing could be further from the truth. If you just look at the history, you learn this. It rose to the top because there were really smart marketing campaigns, really smart businessmen, and millions of dollars at its inception to begin to monopolize not only the medical industry and healthcare, as well as insurances and the education of, the American Medical Association and American Osteopathic Association, that stood for what was allowed to be taught in these medical schools to doctors, and then all of the boarding and certification that showed, the licensure, the board certification that showed what these doctors could or could not do. They were all owned by the same team, meaning they decided, in the pharmaceutical industry. So they made it be pharmaceutical medicine because that was their business concept. At no time in the history of man was that ever rising to the top, because it was the best way to promote health. So when you remember that, you kind of start thinking, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm taught to think, this is the traditional thing. This is the alternative, which is like, that just hasn't been proven, or that's not as good. That is not true at all. It has been proven for many thousands of years, and it has been shown to be far superior in actually establishing health, healing, and reversing disease, none of which are ever found in any study in the history of the allopathic medicine to actually occur. Meaning, we could keep you alive, but you're not actually at a higher frequency. You're not actually having better health. Okay, go watch that video if you want more on that, because what I wanted to share here is I had to take that courageous step to step out of the system and establish something on my own. And I've had so many people come to me since then to say, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you find your way out? And this was true for me, this was true for my husband, and this was true for every doctor that I have met who has successfully established something outside of that system. They just left. They knew it was toxic, they knew it was killing them, and they took a big, bold choice. I'm not saying it has to be a flying leap of faith. I'm saying it has to be a choice to begin to establish something else first, or begin to invest in something else first before the solution shows up. Kind of like the Buddhist proverb that says, leap and the net shall appear. You've got to take an action first, right? Doesn't mean you like sell your house, quit your job, you do it all in one day necessarily. It just means you begin taking action, following that inner knowing. And for all of the other people I know who've successfully done that, they invested themselves, they took action, they followed their heart, and then things started to show up. And so you can connect with that certainty and that knowing. Nobody owns you. Doctor comes from the Latin docere, which means to teach. And so we're here to be leaders. We're here to be way showers. We're here to investigate and dig and do the research as if that patient was our own family member. If that were my family member, would I just casually say, hey, no, nothing else can be done, or we're going to give these really toxic chemicals, but like, yeah, that's the best thing we can do? No, I would look into that to make sure that was the wisest choice and that was true. And in many cases, it absolutely is. To have surgery, to do medication, use medication, absolutely. But in way more cases, it's not. Meaning there's something way better and more advantageous and safer that can be done that lies outside of that system. And I know for myself, it is my personal responsibility to look. If that were my child, I would not take no for an answer. I would not just stop at, I guess that's the best we can do. I would look to know for myself. And that's what I've done as a physician. What I found to be the most powerful vantage point. And tell me if this resonates with you guys. Like, have you been doing your own research? Have you been learning? Like, is that really my only alternative? And kind of starting to look on your own. And what's your story? Like, what have your outcomes been with, using conventional medicine or using the quote alternative, which is actually, there's nothing alternative about it. These are much more grounded and founded traditions than this new system. So we got to kind of realize what we're doing and begin to think for ourselves. And so when we realize, all right, no one owns me, I can do whatever I want. What do I need to arrange to have that be true? Because for many, especially doctors, we're in licensure agreements, we're in contracts. When we get a board certification, we are obligated to operate according to the rules of that governing body. So I was actually not really aware of this when I let my board certification go. I was aware of this when I let my licensure go. So I am no longer in any contractual licensure agreements with the centralized medical system, which would have said, here's what you can do, here's what you cannot do. I'm not saying I'm interested in breaking the law. I'm not interested in hurting anyone. I am always a doctor and I will still be. And the vow I took, the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm, is held sacred. And I will always operate according to that. But I've found there's a lot of wisdom in leaving a system that is so very limiting and so very short-sighted, because in that system, there's a lot of practices that are more based on what's better for the wealth of that medical system versus what's actually in the interest of public health. And so I'm not interested in being obligated in those contracts to a system that does not have my intentions as their own, meaning their intention is not the highest level of health and vitality for all of humanity. Okay, so I stepped out of that and created the American Institute of Mind-Body Medicine with the vision of helping be part of establishing a conscious medical system that does support everyone in living their highest level of health and vitality. And I know as a human being, as an individual, as a woman, and as a doctor, that includes our emotional well-being, our mental well-being, our relationships and our connections with others, our sense of purpose and meaning in our work. Do I matter in the world? And also our relationship with our body. So there are many, many things beyond just physical health or chemistry that are in place when we think about what does it take to have true health. I've also seen that a conscious medical system is collaborative, meaning we're not threatened by new ideas that others hold. In medical school, we learned a lot about like, oh, don't ever go to a chiropractor. And even on my board certification for emergency medicine, there was a story where a guy went to a chiropractor, had some neck adjustments, and later on had symptoms of stroke. And the correct answer was he had a vertebral artery dissection. And, I've never heard of one of these in the history of my life. I've gone to a chiropractor many times. I have lots of friends who are chiropractors, but they made sure that all of the MDs and DOs and conventional doctors knew those guys are bad. They don't know what they're doing. We're the real doctors, even though that's really never been shown to be true. And chiropractors are doing so many wise things in primary care medicine to support health, to make people healthier, to actually resolve disease instead of just treat it or decrease symptoms. Anyway, long story short, in a collaborative medical system, we are not threatened by perspectives outside of the ones we hold. In fact, we welcome them, because when we are willing to see things from different perspectives, we grow. We don't need to think, oh, that's wrong, I'm right, and dig our heels in. We can consider literally everything, because we remember we have wisdom and discernment, and we will have the ability to know what is good medicine and what can be disregarded. We do not need to be fighting each other, defending, protecting. We can collaborate. We can be open-minded. Other parts of what I established with the American Institute of Mind-Body Medicine is that what we do supports the body in healing itself, supports the mind-body connection, where the body is a whole. We are pure energy. We are not just physical. And so very, very often the solution doesn't lie in the scene. Meaning, what's your medical history? What's your family history? What are the experiences you've been having lately? And what are your symptoms, right? We're just looking at that one person and the physical dimension. However, so often, like 99% of the time, I have seen with patients who are sick and not getting better no matter what they do, the real solution lies in the mental emotional, meaning their own belief systems or suppressed emotion that is still vibrating in their body and creating inflammation, or in a system outside their own, meaning the energy of their partner is triggering their body, or their history in another lifetime is triggering their body, or their lineage patterns. There is actually a lot of data on this scientifically to show that as generations over and over come down, we carry in the DNA certain energies for mental and emotional associations, meaning you're like, I never had any problems with money, but like, I'm always worried about money. It can create anxiety. It can create inflammation. It can create a lot of problems with your money, even if you never like went hungry for a single day, but you find generations back that pattern got instilled. And patterns for disease are the same. And so we need to look in the energy of your lineage, in the energy of your genetics, in the energy of your past memories that might not even make sense when you think this life is all there is. I didn't exist before. I don't exist after. It doesn't even occur to you to tap into other dimensions of what's affecting your health right now. So this mind-body medicine thing is not just about like your belief systems or your emotions or your traumas in this one lifetime. It is so much bigger than that. And I want to share again the certification program I'm creating, because what I'm doing now to create a new decentralized system, meaning it's not a system where anyone owns you. It's not a system of medicine that anyone can own. We each individually own it. We are free to explore and practice in the ways we find appropriate. And there's peer-peer interaction. We keep each other in check. We help each other out. But this is a decentralized system that comes from the wisdom within you. If you know you are a part of that, I want to hear from you. Apply for the MindBody Practitioner Certification Program. I will include the link here so you're sure to have that information. There's a few spots left and we're starting soon. And so When we're in these centralized systems, we're going to slowly die. Why? Because it blocks our level of true expression, meaning we're not asked to think for ourselves and explore new possibilities. We're asked to comply with what we're told is true. And it will also block our health as practitioners, because the meaning and purpose of like helping push someone through the system, help the system make more money and function, is a vastly lower frequency than the frequency and consciousness of helping someone heal. You will literally be slowly dying when you keep trying to force yourself to function in that low frequency system. And it is so easy to move into something higher. And so take a few breaths and breathe into your heart. Start activating the heart chakra. You can tap on this area. You can just take the elevator, shoot all the way down from your head to your heart. Hi, body. How are you? There are many practices for this in my work at drkimd.com, in my books, in my programs. If you've been working with me for a while, you are integrating this new circuitry. You connect with your wisdom through these areas of your body, not just through the brain, the thinking, the belief system, what you've learned, the survival pattern. We are moving beyond fear. And so a lot of people are feeling the crunch of trying to stay in systems and structures that are depleting. And you call it burnout and like, I got to manage my burnout. Yeah, there's no way you're ever going to manage burnout. It is not possible to manage burnout. Burnout is an indicator that you are ready for something higher. You can only keep trying to pour water over that fire. It is going to burn you if you stay. And that's really life telling you, hey, come on over here. Hey, what about this? Hey, I got something for you. Are you listening? So share with me what your thoughts are, how this resonates for you. What I've found as a doctor, as a person, is that source within us is the infinite healer. And there is nothing in the known and unknown universe that it cannot handle, no matter what disease you've had, no matter how long your symptoms have been there and how much despair you felt over them, no matter how many dire medical diagnoses you've been given. The source intelligence that lives in you has got you covered. And it's a matter of letting go of the beliefs, the attachment, the fear, and beginning to let it take over. It will show you. My friend, Dr. Sue Morter, we did an interview that's going to come out on my podcast, Be Your Own Healer, which goes with my new book that's coming out very soon. And she said exactly the same thing. She said, the infinite source within us is the true healer of disease. And all we're doing is helping people connect with that. She said, even all the training and all the degrees and all the learning you do is only to help you express that, is only to help you carry through a modality. And it's great to get training, but don't ever think that your training is what makes you the healer, or your training is what makes you a great practitioner, or was your training is the value. It's your connection to source within you that is the value. It's your ability to connect your patients or your clients to source within them to an even 2% higher degree that is the infinite value. And so when people work with me, there is massive change that happens for them. Whether they're working with me as an individual or as a practitioner who's ready to catapult into a new level of power, of purpose, of abundance in their life, you're tapping into the source consciousness within you. We all have it. It's infinite, and it's really the only thing to do. And so that is what I'm up to now is actually, I've exited the system as I've shared here, and I've trusted more and more in source to show me what's next, show me the way. Sometimes it has been so challenging because I've had to develop the ability to trust, to surrender, to be a better listener, to let go. This is not what we want to do when we're in survival state. Oh, but how? Okay. Let go of asking how. Let go. That's surrender. That's what will open up that you do see the resources. That's what will open up, that you do have the spark, you do have the idea, you do have the clarity, you do have the road laid in front of you. And so are you willing to trust? And are you interested in that, right? Like, yeah, I want to tap the infinite source intelligence that lives in me. Yes. Shout out, yes. Put it in the comments, yes. Because I know I'm not alone now. 20 years ago, I didn't. Certainly 40 years ago, 30 years ago, when this started to awaken in me, I didn't know that I was not alone. I had a sneaking suspicion maybe some way, someday, I would find others. And here we are, collaborating together as a community. I'm so grateful and thankful for having you here with me, that you're interested in opening to source consciousness and going beyond this limited paradigm that we thought was the real medicine, and establishing something that's based in wisdom, establishing something that's based in truth, establishing something that comes from within the source consciousness in us, not from an outer institution telling us who we are and what we can and can't do, and telling us what's true. It's great to let all of that in. Yes, yes, yes. It's a whole buffet. But then you got to look at, okay, body, show me what's true for me. What's my highest and best? So don't just believe what you're told. Ask, listen, receive, and connect. So much love to you. I will share the link here for the Mind Body Medicine Certification Program, and also my new book, because you can get on the list for receiving your copy of Be Your Own Healer as soon as it comes out. I'm sending you all my love, and I am allowing you to draw from my courage, the courage I've cultivated over all these years, and I'm still cultivating more, to find your own, because it will take courage to move into choosing from the heart. But we are doing this together. So much love to you. I'll see you soon. We'll be here live every week on Wednesday, broadcasting at 11 a.m. Mountain Time on YouTube at Dr. Kim Duramo. Make sure you like and subscribe, and in the Mind Body community in Facebook.